Jax Corrin had always been a man on the edge, once celebrated as one of the finest pilots in the Outer Rim. He was now a shadow of his former self. Rumors of the betrayal during the Vyrin campaign followed him like dark clouds. Wherever he went, whispers met him. Ex-pilot, failed hero, deserter. Jax didn't care anymore, or so he told himself. But deep inside, a fire still burned. A fire for redemption, or perhaps just for survival. The seedy cantina on the edge of Solaris Station smelled of burnt oil and stale alcohol. Jax leaned back in a battered chair, nursing a glass of synthetic whiskey. Around him, smug smugglers and traders laughed at deals and losses. But Jax was invisible. His mind wandered to the old days, the thrill of maneuvering a starfighter through asteroid storms, the applause, the medals, all gone. Then, a crackling announcement came over the cantina's rusted speaker system. Auction at Dock 12. One-of-a-kind alien ship. Scrapped but functional. Opening bid, 2,000 credits. Jax froze. Alien ship. Functional. Scrapped. His heart raced, though he would never admit it. Alien ships weren't just machines. They were living technology, often smarter than humans. Most pilots wouldn't touch them, but Jax, something in him stirred. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was desperation. By the time he arrived at Dock 12, a small crowd had already gathered. The ship sat under a flickering light, half hidden under tarps. Its surface was sleek, almost organic, with lines that seemed to pulse faintly. It did look scrapped. It looked alive. The auctioneer, a tall man with metallic arm, cleared his throat. Going once, going twice. Sold. Jax had bid without thinking. 2,000 credits vanished from his account in a blink. The ship was his. He approached it cautiously. His hand trembled as he ran a finger along its hull. Then a voice spoke. Not through speakers, not through radio. In his mind. Finally, about time someone bought me. Jax jumped back, eyes wide. W what? I said, I'm finally out of that junkyard. Move over, human. The voice was sharp, sarcastic, almost amused. Jax scanned the ship, expecting to see some alien inside. Nothing. Oh! Don't pretend you didn't hear me. I can talk, and I can do more than just sit here. But I'm stubborn. Very stubborn. Jax swallowed hard. This was no ordinary ship. And somehow he knew this was not going to be easy. The first few hours were chaos. Every command Jax gave was ignored or countered. He tried to start the engines. The ship spun in place. He tried to open the navigation console. Lights flashed and panels locked. Every action seemed to anger the ship, and the voice, Vyrin, was relentless in its sarcasm. Really? That's your attempt at piloting? Pathetic. Jax clenched his fists. I don't have time for games. Oh, you'll make time. Or at least you'll try. The ship replied, its tone almost playful. Despite the frustration, Jax couldn't help but feel a strained connection forming. The ship wasn't just metal. It was intelligent, aware, and oddly alive. And for the first time in months, he felt a spark of excitement. But excitement turned to terror when a series of holographic warnings flashed across the cockpit. Warning. Unauthorized human detected. Threat level high. Initiating defense protocols. Jax froze. Before he could react, the ship lurched forward, dodging an incoming plasma burst from nowhere. Outside in the open space, small drones appeared, firing relentlessly. You didn't think it would be that easy, did you? Vyrin said. Jax's heart pounded. He had no weapons, no allies, and no idea why he was being attacked. He fought to regain control, flipping switches and punching buttons, but the ship moved as if it had a mind of its own. Vyrin's voice rang in his head. Relax. I've got this mostly. Minutes felt like hours. The drone swarmed, shooting beams that could tear through a freighter in seconds. But Vyrin maneuvered with precision that made Jax's old starfighter days look clumsy. Twists, spins, and sudden bursts of speed sent the drones crashing into one another. When the last drone exploded in a blaze of sparks, Jax exhaled, soaked in sweat. What are you? He whispered. I told you. I'm Vyrin. And if you want to survive, we'll have to cooperate. Cooperate. Jax laughed bitterly. Cooperation was not his strong suit. Betrayal had taught him to trust no one, not humans, not aliens, not even ships. Yet here he was, trapped in the cockpit with being more intelligent than most humans he'd met. And somehow, he needed it as much as it needed him. The days that followed were a storm of challenges. Vyrin refused to follow any simple commands. It spoke in riddles, tested Jax's patience, and often threw him into danger only to save him at the last moment. Jax began to notice patterns. The ship wasn't cruel. It was teaching him, shaping him, preparing him for something larger than either of them understood. One night, as they drifted near the asteroid belt of Zar Prime, a distress signal flashed on the console. Jax frowned. It was faint, old, almost buried under cosmic static. The coordinates led to a nearby debris field. He hesitated. They were low on fuel, and he didn't know if he could trust the signal or Vyrin's judgment. I've analyzed the source. It's not a trap, at least not entirely. You'll thank me later, Vyrin said, almost smug. Against his better judgment, Jax followed the coordinates. What they found was astonishing. The wreckage of a massive alien freighter, ancient but intact. And inside, glowing faintly among the ruins, was a holographic archive, records of an unknown civilization. Vyrin hovered near the archive. Be careful. Knowledge is dangerous, especially for humans. Jax stepped forward, awestruck. The archive was more than data. It was history, technology, secrets of civilizations long extinct. Every word, every image, hinted at a universe far more complex than he had ever imagined. Then a sudden tremor shook the ship. The debris field was unstable. Rocks the size of houses tumbled past. Vyrin's system screamed in warnings. Hold on tight, human. Or don't. I'm not here to babysit. The next moments were a blur of chaos. Jax gripped the controls as Vyrin dodged, weaved, and pushed the ship to limits Jax had never experienced. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and yet somehow they survived. Emerging from the debris field, Jax looked at the ship in a new light. You're incredible, he muttered, breathless. I know. You'll learn to stop whining about it soon, Vyrin replied, almost warmly this time. That night, Jax lay in the cockpit, staring at the stars. For the first time in years, he felt hope that he could escape his past, face his demons, and maybe, just maybe, be part of something greater. And though he would never admit aloud, he trusted Vyrin. But trust was dangerous in space. Jax didn't know it yet, but the encounter with the debris field was just beginning. Forces were moving, ancient and powerful, and they were coming for the ship and for him. The turning point had come. The life he thought he had lost forever was opening up in ways he could not predict. And sitting in the cockpit of a stubborn, talking alien ship, Jax realized one terrifying truth. He was no longer in control, and that was exactly what he needed. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, and somewhere, deep in the dark void of space, unseen eyes were watching, calculating, waiting. The unexpected turning point had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. Jax Corrin had survived the debris field, barely. His heart still racing the adrenaline, his hands bruised from gripping the cockpit controls. Outside, the stars stretched like rivers of silver, calm and serene. Yet inside the cockpit, chaos thrummed with every beep, every flicker of Vyrin's alien panels. The ship's voice broke the silence, sharp and impatient. Well, human, that was barely competent. You might want to take notes for next time. Jax scowled, rubbing his temples. Next time, you almost crushed us in the asteroid dust. I did not almost. I did, Vyrin replied smugly, and it was entirely your fault for not paying attention. Again, Jax threw his hands up in frustration. He knew arguing with the ship was pointless. He had spent most of the last day learning that Vyrin would do what it wanted, when it wanted, and how it wanted. No amount of pleading or shouting could force obedience. Yet, for all its stubbornness, there was something extraordinary about it. The ship's maneuvering during the debris field had been flawless. Its reflexes, its calculations, even its sense of danger, Jax had never seen anything like it, and the ship had saved his life. Twice. As he floated in the cockpit, staring at the control panels, a small holographic display flickered to life. It showed a series of alien symbols, slowly rotating in midair. "What is that?" Jax asked. "That, human, is why you are inadequate." Vyrin's voice dripped with smugness. "It is a navigation matrix. Only a pilot worthy of a star's respect can interpret it." Jax groaned. He had barely survived the last lesson in incompetence. Now the ship wanted him to decipher alien symbols that didn't even resemble numbers or letters. He leaned closer, trying to make sense of the glowing patterns. Lines shifted and changed, folding in impossible ways. Hours passed. Jax's eyes stung, his muscles ached, but he persisted. Vyrin watched silently, occasionally muttering sarcastic comments. "Impressive. For a human. Barely." Jax rubbed his eyes. "Barely is better than nothing." The ship emitted a low hum, almost contemplative. Then, abruptly, it spoke again. "Do you hear that?" Jax froze. Outside, space was silent. He tilted his head, listened closer. At first, he heard nothing. Then, faint vibrations reached his ears through the hull, a rhythmic pulse, almost like a heartbeat. Jax frowned. "It's alive," he whispered. "Not alive. Human. Aware." Aware. The words settled into his mind like a weight. Jax realized that Vyrin wasn't just a ship. It was intelligent, and it had its own purpose, its own desires. It could think, decide, and perhaps even judge him. He swallowed hard, and it was stubborn beyond reason. The following days became a strange routine. Jax learned to respect the ship, even as it tested him at every turn. Vyrin refused to enter certain star systems, claiming they were unworthy of human presence. It denied simple commands, rerouted their path, and even shut down sections of the cockpit to teach Jax patience. One morning, as they drifted near a dying star, the ship suddenly spun violently. "Brace yourself. Human! I am about to demonstrate why obedience is merely a suggestion." Jax slammed himself into the controls, heart pounding. Lights flashed red, alarms blared, and the ship twisted around the gravitational pull of the star with impossible precision. Streams of plasma flared across the void as Vyrin dodged naturally, almost as if the ship could see into the future. When the ship finally stabilized, Jax gasped for air. How do you do that?" "Do what?" "Control yourself. Control us. You're incredible." "Yes, I am," Vyrin replied flatly. "And I told you that, but you humans never listen. Lesson learned. Maybe." Despite its arrogance, Jax couldn't help but feel a strange gratitude. He was alive because of this ship, and slowly, he was beginning to trust it, even if it refused to admit it. He could sense that Vyrin was watching out for him. That trust was tested sooner than expected. A distress signal appeared on the console, this one different. Clear, urgent, human. A freighter under attack. Far from any patrols. Jax hesitated. He had no obligation, no allies, yet something in him stirred. "Vyrin, can we help them?" "Ah!" The human conscience appears at last. "Yes, we can help. But know this. Intervention is dangerous. You may not survive." Jax nodded. Survival had never been his priority. Action had. Courage or recklessness. He could never tell the difference. The ship accelerated toward the distress coordinates. As they approached, the scene unfolded. A small freighter, battered and burning, fought off a swarm of drones. The freighter's hull was scarred, and smoke poured from broken panels. "Weapons online, but do not touch them yet. Observe." Vyrin moved with grace that made Jax's jaw drop. Energy pulses from the ship lashed out, dismantling drones with surgical precision. Shields flared, and the freighter escaped unharmed. Why didn't you just destroy the drones from the start?" Jax asked, still in awe. "Because," Vyrin said slowly, "human, learning is more important than efficiency. You are learning." Jax's eyes narrowed. "Learning what?" But before he could ask, the freighter's captain hailed him. A frantic, trembling voice filled the cockpit. Thank you. You saved us." "Who are you?" Jax opened his mouth to speak, but Vyrin answered first. "We are just passing through. Move along." The freighter's engines flared, and it disappeared into the starfield. Jax stared at Vyrin, frustrated. Just passing through? We saved them. Yes, and they would have been fine eventually. You think saving humans is heroic? Sometimes it is merely necessary. Less than human. Jax groaned, massaging his forehead. Every interaction with the ship was a puzzle, a lesson, a test. Yet, deep down, he began to see the method behind the chaos. Vyrin was teaching him, not just to survive, but to think differently, to trust instincts, to act decisively, and to accept unpredictability. But Vyrin had secrets. Jax could feel it. Hidden compartments, encrypted data streams, unexplained energy readings, all suggested that the ship held knowledge far beyond human reach. Late one night, as they floated near a gas giant, the ship's lights dimmed and a low hum filled the cockpit. "Human, there is something you must know," Vyrin said, voice unusually serious. Jax leaned forward. "What is it?" "I am not merely a vessel. I have history, memory, purpose, and others are searching for me. Dangerous ones." The word sent a chill down Jax's spine. Searching? Who? I do not know their names. Only their intent. If they find me, they will destroy everything in their path, including you. Jax's hands clenched on the controls. Then we fight. No, we survive, and we prepare. You will need to trust me completely. Will you? Jax hesitated. Trust had always been a luxury he could not afford. Betrayal had taught him better. Yet looking into the alien interface, glowing faintly in the dim light, he realized he had no choice. I trust you, he whispered, almost to himself. Vyrin's systems pulsed softly. Good. Then listen carefully. Our journey is only beginning, and it will not be simple. The ship changed course without explanation, slipping into an uncharted sector of space. Jax had no map, no knowledge of the stars around him, only Vyrin's guidance. Days passed in a tense routine of exploration, minor skirmishes, and endless lessons. Jax began to anticipate the ship's maneuvers, learning the rhythm of its stubbornness. Yet, no matter how skilled he became, Vyrin always stayed one step ahead, challenging him in subtle ways, keeping him alert and forcing him to grow. One evening, as they drifted past a binary star system, an alarm screamed from the console. Incoming transmission. Unknown origin. Highly encrypted. Jax frowned. Open it. Do you really want to know? Yes, Jax said firmly. Open it. The screen flickered. Images appeared. Alien symbols, ships of strange design, and coordinates Jax didn't recognize. And a message, clear and cold. Vyrin is not for you. Release it or perish. Jax's breath caught. The ship pulsed softly, almost in response to threat. See? Dangerous. I warned you. Jax looked at Vyrin, determination burning in his eyes. Then we fight. Together. Finally, Vyrin said, almost with pride, you are learning. And in that moment, floating in the endless void, Jax realized the truth. He was no longer alone, and survival would demand everything he had. But more than that, he was ready to face the unknown with a stubborn, talking alien ship by his side. Outside, the stars shimmered, indifferent to the dangers closing in. But inside, a fragile alliance had been formed. And for the first time in a long while, Jax felt alive. The stubborn ship had found its pilot, and the universe would never be the same. The stars stretched endlessly outside Vyrin's hull, a silent expanse of cold and light. Inside, Jax Corrin's eyes scanned the cockpit controls for the umpteenth time. Sleep had been impossible. Every flicker of the display, every hum from the alien ship, seemed to whisper warnings. He had survived debris fields, hostile drones, and mysterious messages, but nothing compared to the sense of danger creeping in now. Vyrin's voice broke the silence, unusually calm. Human, we are approaching coordinates of significant interest. Unknown origin. Highly classified, if one can call it that. Jax leaned forward, his fingers twitching over controls. What is it? Another signal? Another trap? Possibly. Possibly a revelation. Possibly both. The ship's hull vibrated as it entered a dense asteroid belt, one far larger and more chaotic than the debris fields they had narrowly escaped before. Light refracted strangely across the rock formations, giving the illusion that stars themselves were trembling. "Careful," Vyrin warned. "These aren't ordinary rocks. They are remnants of civilizations long dead, remnants that bite." Jack swallowed hard. He adjusted the thrusters, moving with precision that barely kept him from smashing into jagged stones. Even with Vyrin's guidance, his pulse raced. Every second in this belt felt like a gamble with death itself. Suddenly, Vyrin shuddered. The ship's hum deepened, almost like a growl. "Stop." Detecting a structure, ancient, buried, and unstable. Jack squinted at the radar. Among the asteroids, a massive form appeared. A partially destroyed alien freighter, almost camouflaged against the rock. Its hull was torn, yet faint lights blinked intermittently, as if the ship were still alive, whispering from centuries past. "What is it?" Jax asked, his voice tense. "A relic," Vyrin said. "And relics have teeth." Against his instincts, Jax guided Vyrin closer. Every meter into the freighter was like stepping into a predator's lair. Panels inside the alien ship blinked and shifted, responding to their presence. The air, or what passed for air in the ship's corridors, seemed stale but oddly charged, humming with energy. "Do you feel it?" Jax whispered. "I always feel it," Vyrin said. "This place, it remembers everything. And not all memories are friendly." Jax's hands gripped the controls. "What do you mean?" "Some civilizations, they don't die quietly. They leave traps, warnings, tests. Those who are unworthy or curious for the wrong reasons are removed." The entrance to the freighter's inner chambers was jagged and broken. Jax guided Vyrin inside carefully. The walls of the corridor were lined with alien inscriptions, glowing faintly. They weren't letters or numbers. They were symbols, shifting and changing, almost alive. Vyrin's lights flickered as it hovered forward. "These symbols are memory conduits. Touch them, and the past speaks. Sometimes truth, sometimes lies, sometimes both at once." Jax hesitated. His fingers brushed one of the panels, and suddenly images filled the cockpit. Holograms of alien faces, warships, and strange weapons danced around him. Some faces were familiar. Well, familiar only in the sense of a universal sense of dread. Jax realized these weren't just images. They were records, memories. What is this?" he whispered. "Knowledge, power, history, and danger," Vyrin said. The hologram shifted again, revealing a map of star systems, each one marked with glowing symbols. One system pulsed brighter than the others. "That's where the trail leads," Vyrin said. "Ancient civilization. Gone or hiding. Dangerous artifacts remain." Jax's heart pounded. He had survived pirate ambushes, hostile drones, and deadly debris fields. But this felt different. This was a puzzle meant to kill the unworthy. As they explored further, the freighter groaned. Dust and fragments fell from the ceiling. Strange energy waves coursed through the walls, activating mechanisms that Jax could not understand. "This place is alive," Vyrin murmured, "and it is testing you." Jax's palms were sweaty. He could feel the weight of history pressing down on him, a pressure unlike any he had felt in the cockpit. Every step into the freighter felt like stepping into the mind of a long-dead civilization. Then, from the far end of the chamber, a light flickered. A door, almost hidden in the wall, slowly opened. Inside, a holographic sphere hovered, rotating slowly. It pulsed with energy, as if breathing. "That," Jax whispered, "that's a core, isn't it?" "Not just a core," Vyrin said, voice low. "A consciousness. A relic of the mind of the ship's creators. Touch it, and you will see the universe through alien eyes, or you may be consumed." Jax's fingers hovered above the console. Every instinct screamed to leave. But curiosity, reckless and insistent, pushed him forward. Slowly, he touched the sphere. Immediately, his mind was flooded. Memories not his own, visions of star systems, alien wars, and technology that bent the rules of reality. He saw fleets moving faster than light, planets engineered with precision, and weapons that could erase stars. The knowledge was intoxicating and terrifying. He stumbled back, gasping. I can't, it's too much. Control yourself, Vyrin warned. Your mind is fragile. This is not human thought. You must focus, or you will be lost. Jax gritted his teeth, forcing his mind to calm. Slowly, the visions began to organize themselves. He saw patterns, connections, the way the ancient civilization had encoded its knowledge into the freighter. But there was something else, something hidden, a warning, almost imperceptible. Do not awaken what sleeps. You are not ready. What does that mean? Jax asked. It means danger. Real danger, Vyrin said. We have awakened something that should have stayed buried, and now it will follow us. Suddenly, alarms blared. The freighter shook violently. Panels fell from the ceiling, and a low hum turned into a deep growl. Shadows moved across the walls, strange, mechanical, yet alive. Jax realized with horror that the ship wasn't just recording memories. It was defending them. We need to go. Now! Vyrin shouted. Jax slammed the controls, navigating Vyrin through collapsing corridors and falling debris. Energy tendrils lashed out from the walls, snapping. Like whips, sparks flew, and the ship groaned under stress. Hold tight, Vyrin said. Jax gritted his teeth as Vyrin twisted and turned, dodging deadly hazards. Every second outside the freighter's core was a gamble with death. They narrowly escaped, the freighter collapsing behind them in a storm of dust and light. Breathless, Jax slumped his seat. That was insane. Yes, Vyrin said, unusually solemn, and yet necessary. You saw what most humans never will. But remember this, knowledge comes with a price. Curiosity can be fatal. Jax stared at the stars, mind racing. He had touched alien consciousness, witnessed technologies far beyond humanity, and survived. But he knew the freighter was not the only danger. Whatever message he had awakened would now reach the wrong eyes. We're not alone, Vyrin said, voice cold. Others are coming for this knowledge. And for me, we have just made enemies powerful enemies. Jax's heart pounded. He had survived so much already, but the thought of an unseen threat, hunting them across the stars, was worse than any asteroid field or drone swarm. Then we fight, he said firmly. We survive, Vyrin corrected. Fighting is often human folly. Survival is science. Jax nodded, understanding the subtle difference. Survival meant trust, strategy, and learning to act with the alien ship as one. And he realized for the first time that Vyrin wasn't just stubborn. It was teaching him to survive what no human had ever faced before. The stars stretched endlessly before them, indifferent to the dangers closing in. But inside the cockpit, a fragile alliance had been formed. A pilot and a ship united against a universe that would test them like never before. And far across the void, unseen forces began to stir. Ancient ships, relics, and hunters awakened by the disturbance in the freighter's memory were now moving. Jax and Vyrin had glimpsed only the beginning. The real danger had yet to arrive. The dangerous discovery had changed everything, and the universe was about to notice. The cockpit of Vyrin hummed with quiet energy, a low, steady vibration that seemed alive. Outside, the stars were serene, but the asteroid field ahead was anything but. Jagged rocks, some larger than buildings, drifted slowly, yet unpredictably, as if guided by some invisible hand. Jax Corrin's palms were slick with sweat as he gripped the controls. He could feel the tension in his shoulders, the tight coil of fear and anticipation that had become almost familiar over the past weeks. Vyrin's voice rang sharply, breaking the tense silence. You do realize we are about to enter a field designed to crush even experienced navigators, correct? Jax exhaled slowly, trying to calm himself. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. It's not a reminder. It's a warning. You will need to follow my directions exactly. No improvising. No heroic stunts. You are not the starfighter pilot of legend here yet. Jax's jaw tightened. He hated the sarcasm, but he knew the ship was right. Vyrin had navigated asteroid belts far more dangerous than anything in human space, and if he wanted to survive, he had to trust it. Not just trust it, obey it. Fine. Let's do it your way, he muttered. The asteroid field loomed ahead like a jagged wall of stone. Vyrin shifted smoothly, almost imperceptibly, as if feeling the motion of every asteroid. Its voice softened slightly. Brace yourself. Timing is everything. Jax took a deep breath and tightened his grip. The first cluster of massive rocks loomed ahead. Vyrin twisted sharply, dodging an asteroid that could have flattened them instantly. Sparks flew from the hull as minor collisions barely missed the ship. Adjust left. Now, upward thrust. Vyrin barked. Jax followed, hands moving faster than his mind could process. The ship shuddered violently as a massive boulder scraped past their hull, leaving a deep gash. You call that attention to detail? Humans are hopeless. Vyrin exclaimed. Jax groaned. Just keep giving instructions, all right? Fine. I will. But you will need to anticipate next time. You are slow, fragile, and overconfident. All three at once. As they maneuvered deeper, the asteroid field became chaotic. Rocks moved in clusters, some spinning on invisible axes. The corridor of space narrowed dangerously. Vyrin shifted its mass like a living thing, darting between asteroids with preternatural precision. Jax felt his stomach churn as he realized the speed at which they were moving, faster than he had ever dared in a human starfighter. Suddenly, an asteroid larger than a city loomed directly in their path. Jax's instinct screamed. He pushed forward, attempting to swerve manually, but the ship jerked violently under its own power, overriding his controls. Stop. Vyrin's voice was sharp, almost urgent. Do not interfere. I have calculated this maneuver. Trust me. Jax froze, his hands hovering over controls. For the first time, he truly felt the weight of surrender. The asteroid drew closer. Time slowed. He could see the surface cracks, the jagged edges, the debris orbiting it. Then Vyrin moved. It twisted midair, flaring shields at the last instant, and the asteroid barely grazed the hull. Sparks erupted and alarms screamed, but the ship remained intact. Jax exhaled shakily. I get it. You're in control. You're better than me at this. Yes, and you will not forget it, Vyrin said. Lesson 1. Humility in navigation. Lesson 2. Trust in the unexpected. Jax nodded, the tension slowly easing. There was something about the way Vyrin moved, almost like it could predict the future, anticipate the asteroid trajectory before it happened. And for the first time, Jax realized he didn't have to do it all alone. You're learning, Vyrin said, almost gently. Do not mistake this for friendship, but cooperation is not impossible. They continued to the asteroid field, the rocks twisting and spinning like a deadly dance. Vyrin guided Jax, showing him the rhythms, the safe zones, and the timing of every twist. Jax began to anticipate the ship's corrections, responding faster, moving as if they were one being. Hours passed in tense synchronization. At one point, a sudden meteor storm struck from the side, the impact sending small fragments hurling toward them. Vyrin reacted instantly, twisting the hull and flaring shields in a series of graceful motions. Jax followed, instincts honed by hours of training, dodging debris and using the ship's unique alien maneuvers. Impressive, Vyrin said, almost approvingly. You are beginning to understand me. Do not overestimate yourself, but progress is evident. Jax allowed himself a small smirk. I can hear sarcasm, and I can match it. I doubt it, human. Doubt it very much. For the first time, a faint smile crept across Jax's face. He realized that the ship's stubbornness, its constant corrections, and its sharp sarcasm weren't just obstacles. They were teaching him. Every near miss, every chaotic maneuver, every sharp correction from Vyrin was a lesson in survival. But the real test was yet to come. As they approached the center of the asteroid field, the rocks grew enormous, some as big as moons. Gravity anomalies made navigation almost impossible. Vyrin's hull vibrated, alarms blaring incessantly. We are approaching the core of the field, Vyrin said. This is a true test. If we fail here, survival is improbable. Focus, human. I will guide. You follow. Jax nodded, determination blazing in his chest. His past failures, his reputation lost, the whispers of betrayal. All of it had led him here. Survival wasn't enough anymore. He wanted to prove, at least himself, that he could rise to the challenge. The asteroids moved faster now, colliding and splitting in unpredictable ways. Vyrin twisted and weaved, dodging some while crashing into others to clear a path. Jax followed the movements instinctively, their timing now in near-perfect harmony. Suddenly, a massive rock broke free from the core. Its size was unimaginable, larger than any asteroid they had seen. It hurtled toward them with terrifying speed. Jax's heart sank. He tried to maneuver manually, but Vyrin spoke urgently. "Do not touch the controls. Trust me. Now!" Jax froze, feeling panic rise. Then, with almost supernatural grace, Vyrin twisted the hull, using energy thrusters to divert the massive rock. Sparks and debris exploded around them, and the ship's shields flared bright white. The impact shook the cockpit, throwing Jax into a seat. For a long moment, silence fell. The field was empty again, the danger passed. For now, Jax's chest heaved. I can't believe we survived that." "Believe it. I am not infallible human, but I am effective," Vyrin said, voice tinged with pride. For the first time, Jax realized something vital. He couldn't survive alone. He had tried for so long, but survival meant partnership, not just with ship, but with something that challenged him, pushed him, and refused to obey blindly. Vyrin was more than metal and circuits. It was a teacher, a protector, a stubborn companion. "You're different than I imagined," Jax admitted quietly. "Good," Vyrin said. "Do not mistake that for affection. I am not sentimental, but cooperation is tolerable." Jax chuckled softly. "I'll take tolerable." They emerged from the asteroid field into the calm expanse of open space. The stars were beautiful, distant, and indifferent, but inside the cockpit, a fragile understanding had formed. Jax still had doubts, fears, and the burden of his past, but he now had a partner who was unlike any human he had ever known. And he knew deep down that this partnership, awkward, sarcastic, and stubborn, was the only way he would survive the dangers ahead. Lesson learned. Vyrin said, "Trust is dangerous, but occasionally useful." Jax nodded. "And patience is overrated sometimes." "You will learn," Vyrin said, its voice almost warm. "Eventually." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, silent and eternal. Inside, a human and a stubborn alien ship had faced the first true trial together, and survived. The universe would throw far worse at them, but for the first time, Jax felt ready. They were no longer pilot and ship. They were a team, and nothing in the void would ever test them the same way again. The stars stretched in calm silence outside Vyrin's hull, a deceptive serenity after the chaos of the asteroid field. Jax Corin wiped sweat from his brow, muscles aching from gripping the controls, and allowed himself a moment of relief. He had survived. For now. "Do not relax yet, human." Vyrin's voice cut through the cockpit. Relief is a luxury in space, and space does not forgive weakness. Jax groaned. "I'm not relaxing. I'm catching my breath." "Catching your breath will not save you from what comes next." Jax turned in his seat, scanning the radar. A faint blip appeared, growing larger by the second. Not a meteor, not a stray freighter. Multiple blips, fast-moving. "What is that?" Jax asked. "Pirates. Highly organized, dangerous, and hungry," Vyrin said. "We have been spotted. Prepare for combat." Jax's stomach tightened. He had faced dangers before, asteroids, rogue drones, but pirates were different. They hunted, they ambushed, and they showed no mercy. And out here, in the middle of uncharted space, there would be no backup. The first pirate ship emerged from the darkness, sleek and deadly, its hull bristling with turrets. A second, and then a third followed. Their formation was tight, designed to overwhelm. "They are surrounding us," Vyrin said. "And they are smart, faster than you think." Jax's hands flew over controls. "Then let's give them a welcome they won't forget." "Do not call it that," Vyrin replied, though its tone had a hint of amusement. "It will not end well for them if you do." Vyrin's thrusters flared, twisting and spinning the ship. Jax realized they were not just dodging. They were baiting the pirates, luring them into positions where Vyrin could strike. The first volley of laser fire streaked across space, barely missing the hull. Sparks danced along the outer plating. "Return fire." Jax shouted. "Incorrect." Vyrin barked. "Return fire now will get you destroyed. Wait, follow my lead." The alien ship twisted sideways, flaring a pulse of energy that struck the lead pirate ship. The pirate vessel shuddered violently, systems sparking. Jax's heart raced. He had never seen maneuvers like this before. Vyrin was not just a ship. It was a predator, calculating 10 moves ahead. "Your move, human," Vyrin said, its voice almost teasing. "Do exactly as I say. Hesitation is death." Jax obeyed, flipping switches and throttling engines as Vyrin instructed. A series of complex maneuvers followed. Spins, dives, and sudden bursts of speed that made his stomach lurch. The pirate ships, coordinated and aggressive, tried to anticipate them. But Vyrin was faster. "We have the advantage," Vyrin said. "But do not get cocky. They will adapt." Indeed. The pirates adjusted, splitting into smaller attack groups. One vessel approached from the flank. Lasers aimed directly at their hull. Jax felt a jolt of fear. "Divert all power to shields," Vyrin commanded. Jax did so, feeling the hum of energy coursing through the ship. The shields flared as the pirate lasers struck. Sparks flew. Hull plating groaned, and for a moment, the cockpit filled with a tense silence. Then Vyrin accelerated, twisting violently and ramming past the pirate flank, striking another vessel with a kinetic pulse. The ship spun out of control, colliding with an asteroid and exploding in a blaze of fire. "Not bad, human," Vyrin said, almost approvingly. "You are learning to anticipate danger." Jax exhaled sharply. "I think I'm starting to enjoy this just a little." "Do not enjoy it. This is serious," Vyrin replied, though the sharpness of its tone had softened. "We are not invincible. Yet." The remaining pirates adjusted again. They launched drones, small, fast, and armed with plasma projectiles. Jax could see the drones weaving toward them, trying to overwhelm Vyrin's defenses. "Manual override. Target the drones." "You can handle it, human." Jax hesitated. He wasn't sure he could, but as he watched the drones accelerate, something inside him clicked. He had survived asteroid fields. He had trusted Vyrin's instincts. He could do this. He flipped switches, fired pulses from the ship's alien weapons, and watched as the drones were shredded midair. Sparks and debris filled space around them. Vyrin guided him, whispering precise corrections, teasing him, but also teaching him. "Good. Faster. Anticipate their moves, not react to them." Jax's hands moved automatically, his focus absolute. He was no longer a pilot struggling to survive. He was part of a team, moving as one with a living ship. The pirate captain, realizing the tide had turned, activated a massive energy net, aiming to trap Vyrin in a deadly cage of plasma. Jax felt a surge of panic. "We cannot outrun that," he shouted. "Incorrect. We do not outrun it, we outthink it." Vyrin said, "Prepare for coordinated spin." The ship twisted violently, spinning around its axis while releasing pulses of counter-energy. The net tore apart against the shields, scattering harmlessly. The pirate captain cursed in a guttural alien language. "This is insane." Jax shouted, adrenaline coursing through him. "This is survival," Vyrin said. In the final maneuver, Vyrin used the energy of nearby asteroids as cover, darting between massive rocks, forcing the remaining pirate ships into collisions or retreats. One by one, the pirate ships were destroyed, disabled, or fled. Silence returned. The stars outside were calm again, but Jax could feel his heart hammering. "We survived," he said finally, voice hoarse. "Barely," Vyrin replied. "And you learned something important today. Trust human. Trust in me and in yourself." Jax leaned back, chest heaving. I think I'm starting to understand. Maybe we can really work together." "Do not get sentimental," Vyrin said, though there was a faint note of warmth. But yes, cooperation is acceptable. For now. Jax laughed, exhausted, exhilarated. He had faced pirates, survived impossible attacks, and learned that trusting Vyrin was not a weakness. It was the only way to survive this universe. Outside, the void of space stretched endlessly. Jax realized that, together with Vyrin, they had faced death and survived, not as pilot and ship, but as a team, ready for whatever the galaxy would throw at them next. And somewhere in the darkness, hidden observers had watched the battle. They had noted the ship's capabilities, the pilot's adaptability, and the strange bond forming between them. Dangerous eyes, far older and far crueler than any pirate, had now taken notice. The first real alliance had been forged in fire, and the universe would never treat them the same way again. The wreckage of the pirate fleet drifted silently in the void, a stark reminder of how close Jax and Vyrin had come to death. Sparks and torn metal glimmered faintly in the starlight, a graveyard of mistakes and miscalculations. Jax slumped in his seat, chest heaving. His hand shook slightly from adrenaline, but a small smile crept across his face. For the first time in weeks, he had survived, not by luck, but by working with Vyrin. Do not get comfortable, human. Vyrin's voice cut through the silence. Comfort is a luxury that invites death. We are not safe yet. Jax leaned back. Yeah, I know. Do you? Vyrin asked, its tone sharper this time. We may have defeated the pirates, but we have drawn attention, and attention is dangerous in the wrong hands. Jax frowned. You mean someone else is watching us? Precisely. Observers. Calculating. Waiting. They now know we exist and that we carry knowledge they want. That knowledge is dangerous. Human. And we do not have the luxury of hiding. The ship's radar flickered. A distant signature appeared. Small, sleek, and moving fast. Jax squinted. Not pirates. No, Vyrin said quietly. Something far worse. Mercenaries or worse. Before Jax could react, the unknown ships accelerated, cutting straight toward them. Vyrin's lights flared as the ship twisted violently. Hold on tight, Vyrin said. We are leaving the system. Jax gripped the controls, trying to keep up. He had learned to anticipate Vyrin's movements, but these maneuvers were unlike anything he had faced. The alien ship twisted and spun, slipping between debris, using the shadows of drifting asteroid shards as cover. The pursuing ships fired plasma bolts, each one exploding nearby. Sparks lit the cockpit, and alarm screamed in a frenzy. Jax ducked instinctively as one impact shook the hull violently. They are faster than pirates, Jax shouted, voice tense. They are professionals, Vyrin said, and they are merciless. You have only one chance to survive this. Trust me completely. Jax's stomach churned. He had trusted Vyrin before, but now the stakes were higher. This wasn't just survival. It was a race against death itself, with enemies who knew exactly what they were doing. The alien ship darted into a dense debris cloud, weaving through jagged fragments. The pursuing mercenaries followed, firing continuously, but Vyrin used the debris to mask their movements. One ship collided with a massive fragment, exploding in a blaze of fire. Another fired blindly and overshot, spinning into space. We are gaining distance, Vyrin said, voice tense. But not enough. They will not give up. Suddenly, a massive pulse of energy radiated from a nearby planet, disrupting the ship's systems. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and the ship shuddered. What the? Jax shouted, panic rising. Gravitational anomaly, Vyrin said, analyzing. It is pulling us toward the planet. We must escape its orbit or be trapped. Jax's hands flew over controls. He tried to follow Vyrin's instructions, twisting and throttling as the planet's gravity clawed at them. The mercenary ships adjusted, using the same pull to pursue relentlessly. This is insane. Jax yelled. Focus. Vyrin barked. We have one chance. One. If we fail, we die. Now, follow my lead precisely. The ship twisted in impossible arcs, Vyrin using its thrusters in perfect harmony with Jax's inputs. Plasma fire streaked past. Hull plating screamed under strain, and Jax felt the pull of the planet trying to drag them down. Then, just as the nearest mercenary ship lined up a direct shot, Vyrin flared shields and launched a pulse blast, hitting the pursuer's engines. The ship spun out of control and crashed into the planet's upper atmosphere, leaving a trail of fire. "We are not out of danger," Vyrin said. "Another wave approaches. They are not giving up." Jax gritted his teeth. "Then we'll just have to be faster." The alien ship accelerated, punching through space-time with a sudden hyperspace jump. Stars stretched into long streaks as they entered faster-than-light travel. Jax felt his stomach lurch as the ship twisted, energy surging around them. For a moment, silence. The hum of the engines, the steady glow of the cockpit, and the faint vibration of Vyrin's core filled the space. "We made it," Jax said, voice trembling. "For now," Vyrin replied. "They will regroup. They will come again. And next time, they may not be mercenaries. They may be far worse." Jax swallowed. "Who are they?" "Hunters," Vyrin said, voice low. "The galaxy has many eyes, and we have just become visible. Prepare yourself, human. What comes next will not be forgiving." Jax nodded, understanding the gravity of their situation. They had survived pirates, mercenaries, and gravitational anomalies, but the true threat was only beginning. "So what now?" Jax asked quietly. "Now we plan," Vyrin said, "and we prepare. Secrets have been uncovered. Knowledge has been touched. And the universe does not forgive curiosity lightly. We are no longer merely surviving. We are hunted." Jax leaned back in his seat, staring at the stars streaking past. The adrenaline had not left him. He felt every bump, twist, and flicker of the ship as if it were part of his own body. He knew one thing for certain. Nothing would ever be the same again. In the shadows of deep space, unseen forces watched. Signals were sent. Plans were made. The hunt had begun. Vyrin's lights flickered, almost contemplative. "Human, I think you are beginning to understand. Trust is necessary. Cooperation is survival. And soon, courage will be required." Jax clenched his fists. "Then let's be ready." Outside, the void stretched endlessly, indifferent, silent, but full of danger. Jax and Vyrin had survived their narrowest escape yet. But the galaxy was watching, and Part 6 promised challenges far greater than anything they'd faced before. The stars. The stars blurred into streaks as Vyrin plotted their next course, leading them into uncharted systems, deeper mysteries, and the shadow of enemies who were now fully aware of their existence. The cliffhanger was set. The hunt was on, and the next chapter of their story would test them beyond everything they had survived so far. The stars stretched endlessly around Jax and Vyrin as they approached the coordinates recovered from the ancient alien map. A faint shimmer of energy marked the entrance to a forgotten system. The planet below was shrouded in a pale green haze, its surface fractured and scarred as though centuries of storms and unknown forces had carved it into jagged mountains and deep valleys. Jax pressed his forehead against the cockpit glass. This is incredible." "Do not get sentimental, human," Vyrin replied, though there was a note of awe in its voice. "This planet has been abandoned for thousands of cycles. The structures you see, they are remnants of civilization that predates recorded history. Curiosity can be lethal here." Jax exhaled and tightened his grip on the controls. "Then let's be careful." The alien ship descended slowly through the hazy atmosphere. As they approached, the massive structures came into view. Gigantic spires rose on the surface like jagged teeth, interconnected by bridges of unknown material that glowed faintly. Strange glyphs shimmered across their surfaces, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. "Those glyphs," Jax whispered. "They're moving." "Not moving. They are communicating," Vyrin said. "I do not fully understand the language, but they react to our presence. They are aware, observing." The ship landed in a wide clearing between two massive spires. The ground was cracked, but smooth, as if the planet had been terraformed long ago. Jack stepped out, his boots crunching on the alien stone. The air was thin and tinged with a faint metallic taste. "Caution," Vyrin warned. "Sensors detect residual energy. It could be defensive or sentient." Jax nodded, scanning the ruins. He had seen ancient structures before, but these were unlike anything in human history. They exuded power, sophistication, and secrecy. Every angle, every curve, every glyph seemed deliberately designed to convey messages, or to hide them. "Look over there," Vyrin said, pointing with a thruster-assisted beam. A massive door-like structure loomed at the base of the central spire. Strange energy lines pulsed along its surface. Jack stepped closer. The glyph shimmered, as if recognizing him. "It's alive," he whispered. "Not alive in the sense you understand, but it is aware of us. It reacts to our presence. Do not underestimate it," Vyrin said. Jax reached out cautiously, brushing his hand along the surface. The glyphs flared brightly, and a low hum resonated through the ground, vibrating through his boots. Then, the central section of the spire slowly rotated, revealing a narrow passageway illuminated by a faint blue glow. "Well, that was dramatic," Jax muttered. "Drama can kill," Vyrin said. "Do not speak. Observe. Learn. Proceed carefully." The passageway led deep into the structure, twisting and turning in impossible geometries. The walls pulsed with faint light, and the glyphs along the walls shifted subtly, as though guiding them or testing them. "I feel like we're being watched," Jack said, his voice low. "We are," Vyrin replied. "This structure has sensors far older than humanity. They have monitored countless beings, and now they are monitoring us." They entered a massive chamber at the center of the spire. A gigantic pedestal stood in the middle, covered in glyphs and strange, crystal-like nodes that emitted a soft hum. Jack stepped closer. "What is this?" he asked. "I am uncertain," Vyrin said, "but the energy readings are off the charts. This is not just architecture. It is a repository of knowledge and perhaps a weapon." As Jax approached the pedestal, a holographic projection suddenly erupted into the chamber. An image of an alien being appeared, tall and graceful, with elongated limbs and shimmering skin. Its eyes glowed with the same light as the glyphs. "Greetings, travelers," the projection intoned in a strange, resonant voice. "You have arrived at the Hall of Ancients. Those who seek knowledge must prove their worth. Only the worthy may pass." Jax froze. "Approve our worth?" "Do not be flippant, human," Vyrin said. "This is the first trial. Observe, interpret, and respond with caution. Failure could be catastrophic." The pedestal hummed louder, and the glyphs along the walls shifted into a pattern resembling a complex puzzle. Symbols pulsed in sequences, some glowing brighter than others, almost like instructions. Jack squinted. "Try and make sense of it." "Looks like some kind of code," he muttered. "More than code," Vyrin said. "It is a combination of logic, intuition, and perception. These trials were designed to filter intruders. And we are intruders human." Jack swallowed, feeling a strange mix of fear and excitement. For the first time in weeks, the adrenaline in his veins wasn't from danger alone. It was a thrill of discovery. He studied the symbols. Some seemed familiar, echoing patterns he had seen in the map from a pirate ambush. Others were completely alien, defying his understanding. Vyrin hovered beside him, its systems analyzing, cross-referencing, and offering subtle guidance. "Trust my observations, human," Vyrin said. "The sequence is logical. Follow it. Do not hesitate." Jax nodded, carefully tracing the symbols with his hand, as instructed by Vyrin. The pedestal pulsed in response, and slowly, the chamber began to shift. Hidden doors slid open, revealing corridors and side rooms filled with more glyphs, crystalline devices, and faintly glowing objects of unknown purpose. This is incredible," Jax whispered. "There's so much here. Knowledge, technology. And danger," Vyrin said. "Do not be seduced by wonder. The ancients designed this place to protect secrets from beings who would abuse them. Curiosity can kill." As they moved deeper, Jax noticed faint markings on the walls, some resembling maps of star systems, others appearing to show weapons, energy conduits, and civilizations long erased. Each step revealed more of the past, more of the lost knowledge. Then, in the far corner of the chamber, a small object pulsed softly, a device no larger than human fist, etched with glyphs and faint energy lines. Jax reached for it. "Wait," Vyrin said. "That object is a key. Not just a key. It carries responsibility." Whoever holds it may influence events far beyond the system. Jax hesitated. His fingers hovered above the device. We're not ready for that, he said quietly. Readiness is irrelevant, human, Vyrin said. The galaxy has already noticed us. The moment we interfere, the consequences begin. A low vibration pulsed through the chamber. Jax looked around. The walls shimmered, the glyphs pulsing faster, as if responding to their presence. He realized this was only the beginning. So we take it, he asked. We do, Vyrin said firmly, but cautiously, and we must prepare. Secrets of the past always attract attention. And now we have it. Jax's hand closed around the device. The glow intensified, filling the chamber with light. He felt a surge of energy, and the ancient glyphs seemed to rearrange themselves, forming paths, symbols, and warnings. This is just the first step, Vyrin said. The rest awaits in the depths of the ancients' halls, and the galaxy watches. Jax swallowed, determination hardening. He had survived pirates, mercenaries, and asteroid fields. He had learned to trust Vyrin, and now he had touched a fragment of a power older than humanity itself. The adventure into the secrets of the past had truly begun. The chamber trembled. The device Jax had taken from the ruins pulsed violently in his hand. Light erupted from the glyphs along the walls, casting the chamber in stark white brilliance. This isn't just a key, Jax muttered, shielding his eyes. Correct, human, Vyrin said, its voice unusually tense. This artifact is active, and activation attracts attention. Prepare for consequences. Before Jax could ask, the walls shimmered and holographic projections of star systems, planets, and unknown fleets appeared, rotating as if revealing a hidden map of galactic influence. We've just painted a target on ourselves, Jax whispered. No, Vyrin said, thruster flaring. We've revealed that we exist, and now the galaxy is watching. Outside, distant shadows moved. Fleets of unknown ships accelerated toward the system, drawn by the artifact's energy signature. Jax's stomach dropped. Time to run, he asked. Time to survive, Vyrin replied. And learn. Fast. The adventure escalated instantly. Every pulse of the artifact, every movement in space, every decision would have consequences they could not yet predict. I can continue writing all 4 subparts of Part 8 sequentially, fully detailed, suspenseful, and cinematic, totaling 14,000 words. Do you want me to start Part 8A in full detail now? I can continue writing all 4 subparts of Part 8 sequentially, fully detailed, suspenseful, and cinematic, totaling 14,000 words. Perfect. Let's do it. We'll break Part 8. The Shadow Rising 14,000 words into 4 sequential subparts, each detailed, cinematic, suspenseful, and ready for YouTube narration. Here's the plan. Part 8. The Shadow Rising 14,000 words. Focus. Consequences of uncovering the ancient alien artifact. High-stakes space conflict, moral choices, and suspense. Deepening Jax-Vyrin relationship under pressure. Revelation of galactic secrets and foreshadowing of bigger threats. Subparts 3, 500 words each. Part 8A, Awakening the Shadows. Artifact activates unexpectedly. Energy pulses draw attention. Jax and Vyrin face the first signs of danger. Part 8B, The pursuit begins. Galactic forces or rival factions hunt them. Intense chase and strategic maneuvers. Part 8C, Revelation in the Void. Secrets of the ancient civilization revealed. Artifacts' true power and purpose emerge. Part 8D, The ultimate cliffhanger. Intense battle or shocking revelation. Sets up Part 9. I can start writing Part 8A, Awakening the Shadows in full, detailed, cinematic style immediately, building suspense, action, and mystery, keeping the simple third-person English style perfect for YouTube storytelling. Do you want me to begin Part 8A now? Part 8A, Awakening the Shadows. Artifact activates unexpectedly. Energy pulses draw attention. Jax and Vyrin face the first signs of danger. Perfect. Let's dive into Part 8A, Awakening the Shadows. Continuing your story in third-person, cinematic, suspenseful style, simple English, and fully immersive for YouTube narration. This will be the first section of Part 8, 3. 500 words equivalent in story detail. Part 8A, Awakening the Shadows. The chamber trembled with a low, resonant hum. Jack's Corin's fingers hovered over the alien device, the artifact he had recovered from the ruins. Every pulse of light sent vibrations through the floor, through the walls, and through his chest. "Vyrin, what's happening?" he asked, voice tense. "The artifact is a live human," Vyrin replied, its tone unusually serious. "It was dormant until we touched it. Now it is broadcasting." Jack swallowed. "Broadcasting?" "Yes. Energy signals. Far-reaching. Unintended. Whoever can detect this now knows we exist. And they are watching." The light from the device intensified, casting the chamber in blinding brilliance. The glyphs along the walls shifted and shimmered, forming intricate patterns. They glowed in sequences that almost resembled a language, pulsing in rhythm with the artifact. "It's like it's alive," Jax whispered. "Alive in the sense that it interacts, yes. But it is not conscious, at least not in the way you understand. Be cautious, human. Curiosity can be lethal," Vyrin said. The floor trembled again. Dust fell from the chamber ceiling, and the air seemed to hum with energy. Then, without warning, the holographic projectors embedded in the walls activated. A three-dimensional map of the galaxy expanded before them, stars and planets rotating in a cosmic dance. Lines of energy connected distant systems, converging on one particular cluster. "What is that?" Jax asked, squinting at the projection. "It is a star system, heavily guarded, heavily monitored. This artifact may be a key to something vast human," Vyrin said. Jax's eyes widened. "A key to what?" Before Vyrin could answer, the chamber doors vibrated violently. The artifact pulsed again, sending a shock wave through the room. Jack stumbled backward, catching himself on the pedestal. "Incoming, sensors detect multiple ships approaching from the outer rim," Vyrin warned. "They are fast, and they are armed." Jax's heart sank. "Already? Who?" "Unknown," Vyrin interrupted. "But they were drawn here by the artifact. They are hunters, and they do not negotiate." A deep rumble shook the chamber, dust falling in clouds around them. The artifact's pulses intensified, resonating with the ship's systems as though sensing their urgency. Jax grabbed his comms console. "Vyrin, what are our options?" "We leave. Now. Hyperspace jump is the only chance," Vyrin said. "But the artifact is unstable. Removing it too quickly could trigger unpredictable consequences." Jax's eyes darted to the artifact, glowing violently in his hands. Every second felt like an eternity. The shadows cast by the chamber walls seemed to shift as if alive. A cold sweat ran down his neck. "Then we do it carefully," he said. "We survive first, answers later." Vyrin extended its mechanical limbs to stabilize the artifact as Jax lifted it from the pedestal. The chamber's light flared, sending waves of energy across the walls. Suddenly, the floor beneath them groaned. Panels slid open, revealing hidden machinery and conduits pulsating with alien energy. The structure is reacting. Jax shouted. It recognizes the artifact's removal. It is attempting to protect or trap us, Vyrin said. "Move, human. Follow my instructions precisely." They sprinted toward the ship as the chamber's machinery came alive. Walls shifted, panels extended like blades, and energy barriers flickered into existence. Jax dodged narrowly as a high-voltage beam lashed past him, scorching the floor. "I hate puzzles that can kill me," Jax yelled. "Focus. Survive. Learn," Vyrin said. "The puzzle is not optional." Finally, they reached the ship. Vyrin's thrusters flared as Jax secured the artifact in a containment field. The ship lifted off, the chamber collapsing behind them as doors slammed shut and energy surges rocked the ruins. "We are clear for now," Vyrin said, though its tone was tight. "But we are not safe. Whoever detected the artifact will come for it, and they will not wait." Jack sat in the cockpit, hands gripping the controls. "Who are they?" "Unknown," Vyrin said, "but highly organized, professional, and far beyond pirates. These are hunters who patrol systems for knowledge, for power. And now, human, we are on their radar. Jax exhaled, trying to calm his racing heart. The stars outside stretched into streaks as the ship accelerated. Danger had arrived faster than he had expected. The artifact, a prize of unimaginable value, had painted a target on their backs. "So what now?" he asked, voice tense. "Now," Vyrin said, "we survive. Then we learn. Then we fight." The artifact pulsed one final time, a brilliant flare that illuminated the ship's interior. Its energy lines traced along the walls, seemingly scanning Jax and Vyrin. And far beyond, unseen eyes watched, waiting, calculating. "Human," Vyrin said, voice low, "the shadows are awake, and they know we exist." Jax tightened his grip on the controls. "Then let them come. We'll be ready." The stars stretched into long streaks as the ship jumped into hyperspace. Behind them, the ruins glowed faintly, a silent sentinel, and a warning to anyone who dared follow. In the darkness beyond, the hunt had begun.